Adequate notice of this meeting was provided and published in the Asbury Park Press and the Ocean Star on January 5th, 2018. Copies of the agenda were provided to the newspaper, posted on public bulletin boards in the Township website.
At this time, please silence or turn off your cell phones. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Here.
Councilman Halloran.
Here.
Vice President Crate.
Here.
Councilman Mumalo.
Here.
Councilman Fosman.
Here.
Councilwoman Pontorero. President DeYoung.
Here.
Thank you.
Everybody, please rise to the salute to the flag along with a moment of silence.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Can I please have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of August 28th, please?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Council Vice President Crate, was that you?
No, that was,
Councilwoman Zapsik, second by Councilman Fosman. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
yes.
Councilman Halloran.
Abstain.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
Councilman Mumalo.
Yes.
Councilman Fosman.
Yes.
President DeYoung.
Yes.
Thank you.
Now I'd like to call up Colleen and Maya, who put on the Kids for Canine event.
It's okay.
Do you girls want the chief and the officers up here? Chief and the officers? One turn.
Chief, can you spin that? Spin this podium?
Aww.
Just a little nervous.
I would just like to thank you for everything. BMAC, the Canine Unit, my friends, and the Township of Brick. Thank you. This I will never forget. We raised $2,831.50, and that is just outstanding to me. Sometimes I think that I'm dreaming because of how amazing that is. The last thing that I would like to say is I cannot wait for next year's event.
Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to take a moment to recognize and thank some of the many people who helped make the Kids for Canines event such a success. First, I'd like to thank Councilwoman Zapsik for meeting with us way back on that rainy day last April during our spring break. She was kind enough to sit and listen to some of our ideas and offered a lot of suggestions for how we could make this event a successful one. Because of Mrs. Zapsik, we were given the opportunity to speak with the members of BMAC about our plans, and they ended up being one of our biggest supporters. I'd also like to thank Sergeant Catalina. Even though we know he was a very busy person, he took the time to meet and talk with us so that we would have a better understanding of what our canine officers and their dogs go through on a daily basis. It was exciting meeting all of the dogs, including Echo, our newest canine in training. Many thanks also need to go out to every one of our canine officers from Brick, and even some officers from neighboring towns who came out to help with all of the amazing demonstrations. Having our officers on hand to show what they do on a daily basis and answer the questions throughout the day was definitely the highlight of the event. Finally, we would like to thank all of our donors and volunteers who came out to help us. From VMMS students to friends and family, we couldn't have done it without you. I am grateful for the experience of being able to work with our officers, their trusty canine partners, members of BMAC, and members of our outstanding Recreation and Parks Department. I am humbled and honored to be part of this great event, and I look forward to working again in the future to make a difference. Thank you.
So girls, I just want to say on behalf of the Brick Township Police Department and our canine unit, I want to say thank you very much. should be very proud of what you did. It was an outstanding effort, and that's an amazing amount of money. I don't know many adults that could have put together such a successful event and raised that much. So again, thank you on our behalf.
Art's jumping.
Very good. Thank you, ladies. That was a great thing that you did for our canines and for our town. So thank you so much for holding that event and raising all that money for us. So thank you. We appreciate it. Next, Mr. Starkey, would you like to introduce and explain?
Yes, thank you, Council President. The council has a resolution on tonight, Resolution 4-1, to authorize an execution of a purchase and sale agreement. And I just wanted to sort of briefly explain, both for the council and for the public, what it is you're approving, because it's a significant transaction. This concerns property just down the street, Chambers Bridge Residences. For those of you who don't know, it's in by the Housing Authority. It consists of land and a 184-unit affordable apartment building, and it houses seniors and special needs people who qualify for the affordable housing assistance. The township owns the land. The township does not own the buildings, but the buildings were constructed and are now owned by Homes Now, which most people in town are very familiar with their work. Homes Now built the buildings, manages the buildings, operates the buildings, and Homes Now has met, I think it's going back 2 years ago now, with National Church Residences, which is a gentleman here who's going to have to speak, but they are a nonprofit, faith-based corporation that does a lot of managing of nonprofit affordable housing projects. They, in fact, have been managing, under contract with Homes Now, this project of Chambers Bridge Residence for some time now. And National Church Residences and Homes Now have had discussions about NCR purchasing the buildings that are there. And NCR came to us with Homes Now about, I think it was about 18 months ago, and we've had discussions about, in conjunction with the sale of the buildings, also selling the land that the township owns. Right now, the land that the township owns is being leased to Homes Now for $1 per year. It's a 50-year lease that was started in 1996, and the reason, I know no one here was here back then in 1996 when it was authorized, but the reason it was done by a lease for $1 a year is because the township wanted to encourage and assist with the development of this affordable housing property. And that sort of $1 a year enabled Homes Now to build this, and I think everyone could agree it's really a beneficial thing for the township to have that out there. The township has reached an agreement with NCR for the sale of the land, which is what's in front of you tonight for consideration and approval. And I just wanted to go through some of the key provisions of that. Right now, as I said, the property is being leased for $1 per year for 50 years. That would go until 2046 with Homes Now. Instead of that lease, we would do a sale, and the sale price is $1.65 million. That would be money that would be coming into the township, and it would be a sale of the land. But in conjunction with that, there are also concerns raised that about the maintaining the affordable restrictions on the property. We want the property to be maintained for affordable housing. So what we did to ensure that, we agreed as part of the transaction with NCR that there will be a 40-year extension, 40-year restriction on affordable housing. So what that means is, for the next 40 years, NCR will be obligated to maintain that as an affordable housing project, as it is today, subject to the same federal regulations it's subject to today. At the end of that time, or at the end of that, the affordability controls could be extended, which means it would continue to be affordable. But if those expire, if NCR at some point no longer is going to use it for affordable housing, and it's going to sell it, the township will then, we have the right in our transaction to buy it back. And we did that because we want to maintain control over that, have the right to maintain control over that property, to maintain it as affordable. The net effect of that is, right now the lease with Homes Now goes for another 28 years. And at the end of that 28 years, Homes Now has the option, has the right to buy that property. If they did, it's at risk that those restrictions would expire. It might not be affordable anymore. So we're gaining, even though we're selling the property, we're gaining more control over the property to maintain it as affordable. And that's, I think, a beneficial thing, because I know the council here looks out both for the taxpayers of the township and for the residents of that property. And this would enable you to do both of those. I know that NCR has plans for this property, and Council President, I know that the folks at NCR know much better than I do what those plans are, and I think you should hear from them directly, because that's part of, I think, what you should be considering tonight. So with that, I'd turn it back and ask if there's someone from NCR that can come up and have a discussion about that.
Sir, it's all you.
Okay, sorry about that. Well, hi, my name is Steve Bodkin. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for Housing for National Church Residences. We have been an organization in affordable housing since 1961. We're in some 26 states. We manage 23,000 units. We manage 330 properties that are similar to Chambers Bridge. We've been managing that one for, I think, about 19 years. And as they said, we're a faith-based organization. And I think that that's important, because we're more than just landlords. We really do care about the residents that live there. We care about the sustainability of the property in the long term. When we had discussions with the township about extending the affordability and that type of thing, that wasn't a big problem for us, because this is what we do. We've been in this, like I say, for decades now, and we intend fully to keep the property affordable and to treat the residents with dignity and respect, and give them a type of property to where they would be proud to live. There's questions about, well, what are our plans for the property? Well, besides keeping it affordable, we want to strive to continue to bring services in to where people can continue to live there as long as possible independently, rather than going up to another standard of care. So that's one of the pieces that we do. But as far as the physical property itself, we intend right away to get into the next cycle of trying to pursue a tax credit in New Jersey. By the way, we have 12 properties in New Jersey that are like Chambers Bridge, 950 units. But we intend to pursue tax credits for the property, and with the township's help, I feel very optimistic that we will win those tax credits. And if we do, it will it will basically influx millions of dollars into the property to where we can give the property a facelift. We can literally transform the property from where it is today. So we've got big plans for the property. We do this all the time in other parts of the country, and I'm hoping that the council will vote yes and put your trust in us, quite honestly. I think that we're a trustworthy company, and we'll make you proud, and we'll be good citizens.
Very good. Thank you so much. Right now, we are going to go into the resolution for the sale. Resolution 4-1, authorize execution of purchase and sale agreement with National Church Residences for sale of land, 175 Chambersbridge Road. Mayor?
Thank you. This resolution approves, we just heard about it, obviously, but resolution approves the sale of the property where the Chambersbridge residence is located, and it's going to be sold to National Church Residences for $1.65 million. The township owns the land and has been leasing it to Homes Now for $1 a year. The building itself is owned by Homes Now, and that organization has a separate agreement, and they're going to be selling the building to National Church Residences as well. And that's how we got involved with the situation. First it was, are we going to extend the lease? Can we extend it for 99 years, 75 years, all these different things back and forth. When figured out, why is the town being a real estate holding company? That's one of the things that I don't like about what the prior administrations did. So we shouldn't be in a real estate holding company. So why not sell it? Especially since the fact that the same affordable housing restrictions remain in place. The township did authorize an appraisal of the property. It identified the $1.65 million as a fair value for the property as approved for affordable housing. So a fair market value evaluation of market rate rental units can't be applied, obviously, because if it was a building being sold that could be rented to anybody, it would have a much higher value, of course. But it's affordable units. We need the affordable units. We have a affordable housing obligation. And therefore, the land itself obviously has the same restriction as the building because the land has the building on it, and the building can only be used for affordable. So there's 184 units there. 159 are low-income senior units, and 8 three-bedroom units, a total of 24 for people with disabilities. And then there's 1 unit that's used for the full-time maintenance employee, because you want to have an on-site employee, of course, being there to maintain the facility. Homes Now has been contracting with them. They're the largest nonprofit senior housing in the country, and they've been managing the building's operations. Deed restrictions are included. The restrictions will be in place for a minimum of 40 years beyond the current term. We negotiated a right of first refusal so that the township can buy the property back at fair market value in 40 years if NCR intends to cease operating as a facility with affordable housing restrictions, and therefore whoever's sitting in this seat and those seats can decide, yes, we want it to remain affordable housing if that's what's still the law of the land and everything else, and they can buy it back at that point if NCR decides for some reason. That's what they do, so I don't think they would do that, but if they decide that the affordable housing business is something they don't want to be in, I believe, as everybody's heard me, we should not be in the property management business for sure. I mean, we shouldn't be in the real estate holding business, and we definitely shouldn't be in the property management business. So I guess maybe a thought process, if we don't lease it, if we don't sell it, should we buy the building and then be the property managers? Township government should not be doing that. Get government out of things. Private industry is where it's at, and they should be running things. And basically, the way I see it, the bottom line is, as a Township of Brick, we are getting $1.65 million instead of $50 with all the affordable housing restrictions in place. And that's kind of the bottom line. Thanks.
Thank you, Mayor. Can I have a motion and a second from council?
I have questions.
We're going to open it to council soon.
right.
Can I have a motion and a second from
Motion.
council, please?
Second.
Motion by Councilman Mumolo, second by Councilman Halloran. Now we're opening it up to council.
All right, NCR, can I ask you a few questions? Sure. Did you ever lease any
Come up
properties?
to the microphone, if you spin it around, sir.
Have you ever leased any properties and owned the buildings? Have you ever done that?
Could you repeat that for me?
Have you ever leased the land before and owned the building? And
To
And
my
your
knowledge,
properties.
not with a tax credit property. We've never done that. And really, with even a non-tax property, a property that's not a tax credit, I can only think of one in the country where it sits on a land lease.
It's a land lease. And I know we received, like, we got a pilot program we received. You're managing the properties, correct?
Correct.
And we receive payment in lieu of taxes about $80,000 a year. It's 5% about that, because as far as I understand, the income in that property itself is $1,535,844 for a year. That's the income of your property. And 5% of that's supposed to come to the town, and that's $76,000. So there's quite a bit of money left over in there, and you are managing the property there, so I imagine Homes Now is still making a profit on it. So you're going to have the land until 2031, am I correct?
No, Mr. President, it's a sale of land, so
Sale-
they will own the land. It won't be until
Yeah, but only for 40 years, they got to keep it as affordable housing.
there will be a deed restriction in place that will require it to be maintained as affordable housing for 40 years from
40
the...
years.
Correct.
And after that, they can do what they want with it.
No.
I mean, we
After-
can try to buy it back. I mean, imagine
Well, not try.
40 years from now what the land would cost.
Well, we will have the right to buy it back if the council, mayor and council at that time choose to do so, but only in the event that NCR does not continue to maintain it as affordable housing.
Okay, so if we don't buy it back and they don't want to maintain it as affordable housing, what happens?
Well,
They can rent it
I
out
would
to
say
whoever they want?
it's 40 years from now, we don't know what will happen. I mean, the economic climate could change, the laws could change, the affordable housing program could change. I think the important
Or
part...
we could stick our residents with not enough low-income housing.
That is true.
It's possible that could happen.
That is very possible. That's why we've negotiated a right, in the event that is the situation then, and affordable housing is as critical in 40 years as it is now, we can buy that property back, or there's another option we would have, and that is to extend the affordable housing restrictions in the event NCR wants to do it that way, which they may well do, because I know their time horizon is often 75 to 99 years for their investments. If they don't, they could sell it to another nonprofit that would continue to operate as affordable. But in the event everything, nobody there wanted it, we would have the right to buy it back. That's
Okay,
correct.
and now the pilot program, we're transferring that from Homes Now to you. That's what we're doing.
The program is...
Until 2031, am I correct on
Right,
that?
the program is administrative services charge. And so I think everyone knows, so everyone can know what that means. Affordable housing projects frequently have programs like this where they are technically tax exempt, but they pay what's called administrative service charge, which is less than someone would pay if they were taxed as another, commercial entity. The reason for that is because with an affordable housing project, the rents are fixed, which means the revenue remains limited. They can't increase the rents. So what they frequently do, and it's allowed by state law, is to pay a lesser amount than they would in taxes, administrative services charge, that is paid to the township, that is really to represent the charges the township provides. We obviously provide emergency services, fire, everything we do with other apartment complexes, but it is limited to that. That is correct.
Can I ask you, if you fixed up the buildings like you intend to, would that increase the property value?
Well, with the affordable...
Shall I ask the appraiser, Mr. Mancini?
Mr. Mancini is here, but with the affordable restrictions in place, I don't believe the value would change that much, but maybe Mr. Mancini can give us some insight into that.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Please.
Would you like me to? Yeah.
By the way, just so everyone, Henry Mancini is our township appraiser and performed an appraisal on this property for purposes of this transaction.
You can share that up there. It's all right, no, you need to get on
You
there so
have to
people
get
can
on
hear
for
you.
the,
Thank you. Your question?
My question was, if they fix up the building, does that increase the value of the land?
No. When you improve the physical improvements of the building, that would go to the building improvements. A building that is old, a 30-year-old building such as this, has a level of depreciation that's within that building. If they were going to renovate it, upgrade it, any value increment increase would go to the building, not fall to the land. So when we do, say, a cost approach evaluation, we value the land as if vacant, ready for its highest and best use, and then the building, we estimate based upon its replacement costs, less depreciation. The only thing that would improve in that circumstance, there would be less depreciation because they are improving the improvements, not the land.
Okay, but on your assessment here, in your appraisal, it says here, tax and assessment data. It says the land is worth $2,182,900, and the improvements are $9,719,800. So that comes out, that's 2.1. How'd you come to that?
That's the municipal tax assessment that's on the property. That is not my market value estimate. I don't place the tax assessments on properties in Brick Township. They're often in dispute, hence we have tax court, and a rather busy tax court and tax board, so that's irrelevant in the context. My market value estimate was $1,650,000.
Just saying, it's awful funny because
Thank you, Mr.
that's
Mancini.
what the
Thank you.
value, that's what they collect in rent, and it's awful. Just maybe it's a quinkydink.
The rent in my market value estimate.
I know, it must be a quinkydink, because it's about the same. I'm just curious about that.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mancini. Anything further from council?
Yeah, yes, hold on a second.